Hello everyone, Linda Israel here. In one of my other videos I shared with you how to print and cut with a Cameo silhouette. I was trying to show you. Okay, these are some of the images that I cut out and I just love them. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make some little embellishment pieces that I can use whenever I need them to add to things. And first thing I'm going to do is going to take some distress ink and go around the edges of all these images, and then I'm going to pull some scrap papers to make mats and some old book pages so I can make some altered paper clips and some pockets and whatnot. So come along and watch and I'll show you each step of the way. So after I went around all the edges with a distress tool, I ended up cutting some shapes. In this particular one, for the 2-inch, I cut a little 2 1/4-inch square out of some green cardstock, and then I used the distressed ink around the edges of that, and then I sewed a zigzag stitch all the way around. So this is going to be a component for a little tag, and then here's what the finished tag will look like. To begin with, I've got a book page that is just out of an old book, and it's rather thin, and because it's rather thin, that's why I'm folding it in half. And then I'm going to just take some Aleene's tacky glue and go right around the perimeter of this a little bit, and then down the center in a little zigzag. And then I've got my bone folder here, and what I'm going to do is close this and then gently press that glue to the edges, and what that'll do is help spread that glue around, and it'll actually make this piece of paper stronger because the glue, I guess, just penetrates and adheres these two together, and it'll become a little stiffer and stronger. Now that I've gone all the way around and put the glue on here, I've got some distress ink, vintage photo. I'm just going to add some to the edges all the way around. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zigzag stitch around the outside edges, and I'm going to attach this piece and this piece by stitching. So I'll show you that on the camera in just one moment. So we're over at my sewing machine, and I have it set to do a zigzag stitch, and I'm going to stitch down the side, the bottom, and the next side, and then I'll attach the lace and the little notepad papers. Now, when you glue something together, you want to wait till the glue's dry just a little bit before you start to sew, because it could rip the paper and it could gum up your needle, which means you have to clean your needle or replace it. I'm going to line up the papers close to the top edge, but down just a little bit. And I'm going to add the lace right on top, and I'm going to stitch right on top of here. So the lace and the little notepad pieces have been stitched onto the old book page. The next thing I need to do is attach the Calico Collage image. This is from the Simply Spring. These were the 2-inch squares. So I just want a little bit of glue across this bottom here, because I'm going to attach it to the top part of this little tag. And I'm just using Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm going to put it right in the center and press that down, and it shouldn't have glue coming out the back side. I've got some little embellishments here. So this is a word that I cut on my silhouette. I'll have some of these, I think, pretty soon in my shop because I keep getting requests for them. And it is on cardstock, and I'm just going around the edge with my distressing tool. So now that's been distressed just a little bit. And I've got my Embelly jelly here, and because this is a small element, I'm going to put a little bit of this Best Glue Ever on the back side. And then I've got just a little snippet of eyelash lace, or yarn, not lace, yarn. So this is the eyelash. It's fuzzy! And I'm going to lay this down right here in the corner, and then I'm going to put the word right on top of it and press down, and what will happen is that glue that was put on there will help attach this whole thing. I may have to hold it just a moment to get it pressed into place. The next thing I'm going to do is going to pick up one of the hearts. It's a little glitter heart, and we're going to add a little bit of glue to the back side of it. And then what I like to do is I want to add a couple of rhinestones, so I'm just going to add a couple of drops of glue. It's not a whole lot, just a tiny amount. And then I'm just going to pick up the gems with the Embelly Jelly by Scrap Perfect. So this is just a little blob of sticky jelly that goes on the end of a stick, and you can pick up the little gems like I did here. You can see that it's staying on there pretty well. And then I'm going to place it down. Now sometimes I find that it's too sticky and I have to give it a little help to remove it from there, but it's so much easier than trying to pick these gems up by my fingers and place them down. So I'm just barely touching this gem just to get it to stick to the stick. Stick to the sticky stuff. Alright, so there is my first project that I wanted to show to you using the Calico Collage Images Simply Spring. And I've got a few more to show to you, so make sure you stay tuned. The next thing I'm going to show you is the components to make this altered paper clip. So it's got a Calico Collage image and words and lace, and then it's got a paper clip on the back. So using the same book pages that I had before, I ended up using half of one. And what I found is if I take this and then fold it in half and then open it back up and just put a little bit of glue inside here, that's going to help with the stability of this page. And I'm going to use my bone folder again to smooth it out. And I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half so I know where the fold's supposed to be. And I'll use my Distress ink and go all the way around. And then I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and with this open, I'm going to zigzag stitch just on this side. And I'll come right back. The stitching has been done, so you can see there's the inside, there's the outside. Now I'm going to take my paper clip and I'm going to put it right in the center of what I call the back. And then I'm going to use some glue and glue right inside here and where the paper clip is. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue there. And then I like to turn it over with the paper clip up and make sure this is center and just press. So it's already starting to come together. The next thing that I like to do is take a little bit of glue and place it right about, I don't know, the bottom third of this, and then add a piece of lace. And then I have my Calico Collage image that I have distressed, but I have this punch that needs to be distressed, and I just use scraps of paper. So whenever I die cut things or have to cut a big piece of paper out or a small piece out of a big piece of paper, I save it, and then I will use my punches to get shapes. And I'm going to go ahead and do all these pieces. So I have a little box that I put all the shapes in, so whenever I'm done making a bunch, I just stick them in here, and then that way I have them whenever I want to do a project. I'm also doing the same thing with words. I'll cut out what I feel are popular words that I might use, and I have this little storage container so I can find them. So I found that if I use with thin papers just a little bit of glue stick, it goes a lot easier than trying to use a real wet glue. And all I'm doing is just really pressing onto my image here. I'm going to lay this in the center. I'm going to do the same with the Calico Collage image. Got a little piece of this eyelash trim, so I'm just going to lay it down kind of in the middle, and then I'm going to use Aleene's tacky glue on the back side to hold this into place. And I like to press it down with my fingers to get it where I want it. Just using a little bit of the Best Glue Ever by Scrap Perfect to put down the sentiment or word. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to place a little bit of glue to put down this heart. And then I'm going to put some little drops of glue here and there, like so. And then I'll pick up my gems and attach them. So there is the altered paper clip that I made. Isn't that cute? I'll show you the components, but I won't construct it. But this is a piece of denim. So we got a piece of denim. I have some really nice cardstock or watercolor paper. It's really thick. Then I had the Calico Collage images, a little heart, lace, and inspire. And what I did was, I did a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch down one side, and then I took the white piece and stitched it onto the denim. Then I took this extra piece of cardstock or watercolor paper and punched it into a tag shape, and then attached all the little elements. So much like I did on the altered paper clip, it's got that same style of look on there. Isn't that darling? I just love the way this is turning out. And then I made a little tag. I just used, basically, I think it's a 3 1/4 by 5-inch little card. It just happened to be that's what the size it was that I had in my stash. And then I've added one of the Calico Collage images on top, but what I did was I glued it here, here, and here so that there is a pocket. And this was a scrap from cutting up another piece, and so I saved it and made a little tag to go inside. And then there's the back side. So there's another idea to use these little images. And then here is a book page that I folded in half and glued, much like I did for the notepad backing. And then we've got all these little pieces here. So I sewed all the way around, sewed the piece of lace down, then added the embellishments on top, and then this will be a pocket that the tag can go in. So this should fit right behind in my journal. So now you've seen a few ideas that I've made using the Calico Collage digital images and adding them to other elements. So these are going to be in another project that'll come out tomorrow. So make sure you come back and see the spring collaboration journal that I made using some of these elements and some mixed media elements from a swap. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. If you have any questions, please use that comment box down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends so that others can find it and hopefully be encouraged by the things that I share. And of course, make sure if you haven't subscribed that you hit that notification bell and you subscribe so that you'll get all the information about what I'm doing. Make sure you check out the link description box for a link to the blog, as well as links to my Facebook groups and other social media connectors. Thanks again, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate you. I know I say that a lot, but I really do. And I hope you have a fabulous creative day. Bye, everybody.